Hello, hello, everyone. And I smiled while the screen was playing because we already got kisses, JC. We already got kisses in there. Hello and welcome, everybody. You may notice my extra special guest tonight, Jaycee Gaspar from the Altenew design team and one of the instructors at the Secret Garden Retreat in May. Super, super excited. And we are going to get to know Jaycee a little bit in just a moment. We're going to do a few things. I wanted to let you know what's in the kit. I want to let you know there's a discount right now. Who doesn't love a discount? So right now it is $250 for this. And what do you get for that? That's a very, very good question. You get 6 workshops that are 90 minutes long. There's a half an hour break in between. You also get the kit, which is valued at over $250, and I'm going to tell you what's in there. It's crazy. And then some PDFs, and those are full color, step-by-step, how to create these if, say, you have to miss a class. Also, there's going to be a live Q&A session with the Altenew leadership team. And these are yours. These are yours to keep. They don't go away. They stay in your Altenew Academy. These are yours. And then there are giveaways after the workshop. You can win over $500 in prizes throughout the day for some folks. What comes in your kit? So the Secret Garden Layering Stencil Set, which is a 7-in-1. And Jennifer McGuire pointed out yesterday that is actually on our graphics. So you guys get a sneak peek at something. I didn't even notice it. And she's like, it's right there. So that was exciting. You get the Secret Garden die set to cut that out, streamlined 6x8 stamp set, die set, and the streamlined 3D embossing folder, the Bold Blooms die set, Tiled Blooms 3D embossing folder, enamel florets, exclusive, meaning you cannot get this after this is done. You cannot get these, the fresh dye inks. It's a set of 6 round pads. I do not know the colors at this point. There are A2 card bases, mini blending brush set, a detailed blending brush set, and one of my favorites at Altenew that's a staple, the stamp conditioning eraser set, because that is just absolutely super duper helpful with all of those gorgeous, gorgeous stamps that they create. So this is going to ship out. There's some Q&A on the website. If you have some questions, feel free to pop over there. This isn't going to ship out right away. This is going to ship closer to the date of the retreat in April. And I said there was a discount code. So right now it's going to be Garden25. This is on the website. So if you don't have a pencil, no worries. It's good through 2/15. And if there are spots, and this is a huge, bold, italicized, caps lock, if there is seats, it's going to go up to $275 because this has been literally flying off the shelf. So just keep in mind, if you're interested, don't wait, click that button and join us. So now we get to find out. Jaycee, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Jaycee Gaspar. Just like Bridget said, I'm one of the Altenew educators. I'm also part of the video creation team, or I guess content creating team with Altenew. But I'm a full-time laboratory scientist. I actually see some of my coworkers have popped into the chat.
Oh, yes! Yay!
But
welcome, laboratory scientists!
So yeah, and I'm from Denver, Colorado. So yeah.
And you're a cat dad.
That's right. You too.
It's very important to mention he is a cat dad. He takes very beautiful pictures of his little furry friends. So, yeah. So when you saw the images, because we haven't opened the box yet, but when you saw the images in this PDF, what stole your heart right off the gate?
Yeah, just like Jennifer, I agree with Jennifer McGuire happened to be live yesterday, so make sure if you haven't caught the live on YouTube or Facebook, it's there. But I agree with her about the layering stencil that's included in the kits. I consider it to be very versatile. Layering stencils are great for beginners all the way to advanced crafters, and they're just much more forgiving than I think layering stamps are. So that's the first thing that I saw was the impressionist sort of watercolor-esque type bouquet that's happening with the layering stencil. And I'm excited to see how all of this, until I physically have it, what this
Yes.
really, how this really works in our hands. So I'm excited about all of it, but
And
especially
we
that layering stencil.
we kind of touched a little bit in the pre-show, so to
Yes.
speak, that you're more of a you have to have it in front of you to design kind of guy. You need your hands on it to kind of process through. Have you had any techniques sneak in like, "Ooh, I really want to do this day. Can I make it work?"
Right, because the kit also includes the detail blending brushes and the mini blending brushes as well. Of course, I want to try to think of ways to make this feel alluring and sort of fit the theme of the secret garden, right? Um, I'm trying to picture how that will look in my head and spatially in a card. So thinking a lot of ink blending, but definitely a lot of playing with floral compositions as well.
Now, do you have colors that you are like, "Okay, I need to stop reaching for these because these are my favorite go-tos." Do you have those that you grab all the time?
Yeah, I do a lot of just like our banner that's below, I do like a lot of pinks and peony blush palettes. I've been trying to go for more saturated colors.
Yeah.
Trying to think what's in our stash that's sort of similar, like the jewel tones.
Yes.
So I like that these supplement our current ink collections, but using these on our own it's been hard. It's been hard for me. So I hope to branch out to more saturated colors soon.
Yes. It's always fun because they when you add them in, it's like your world was just created again because 'cause you're like, "Whoa." Like,
Yeah,
it's fun because you don't use them often, so
right.
it's magic when you use them because it's like it just blows your mind because 'cause you're not used to using them, so
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So
now how long have you been crafting? Because I know you do some vinyl work as well, we've seen some beautiful pillows you've made and lots of different, projects that you've done, kinda home decor, so have you
mhm.
been crafting longer than card making or
Yeah, I think I've always had it like this sort of itch for creativity, whether that is home decor, a lot of the like Cricut type crafts, card making, paper crafts, fabric work, crocheting, knitting. Like I always want to do something when it pertains to creating. So when did I start card making? I want to say the end of 2015 when I finished my lab science program was when I picked up my first stamp set. But before then, I was doing some yarn work with knitting and crochet. But now I'm back to yarn work again with
Mm.
embroidery. So I think it's been as long as I can remember drawing, painting. So yeah, but card making is I guess one of my newer and more concentrated fields of creativity.
And I think that's with a lot of us. I think it's kinda like, what craft don't you do? Like, what hobby don't you have? Because once you start on one, it's dangerous slope going down that.
Oh
You
yeah,
do, you
absolutely.
get into crocheting and knitting, and then you're like, "Oh, look, I can do floss. Oh, I can sew," and, yeah, so it's your office space starts shrinking because you find so many different passions that you can have as a creative outlet,
Yeah.
so
But a lot of us on the Altenew team are like that.
yes.
Um, like Jen, who's
Yeah.
just amazing dresses all the time.
Yes.
And I'm just
Yes.
like, I don't know. I don't have I wish I could sew, but it's
I
the lines start going and I can't. I can't.
I quilt, and that you go in a straight line. Like,
Yeah.
there are no surprises, there are no curves, there are no
Yeah.
fancy stitches, and she keeps trying to convince me that sewing is just the same, and I'm like, "But is it?" Like, I don't think I can do it. So but I love her belief. I love her belief that I can
Yeah.
do it, so it's but yes, we'll have to have you try because you didn't you make a pillow for with the fabric? What did you make with the fabric again?
Yeah. I made like very as simple as I could. I made like a plastic bag holder.
Yes!
Yeah.
It
And
it
I
was
did
very
different colors as
good.
well.
It was
Yeah.
very, very good. So see? So maybe we'll see more sewing projects coming forth.
Maybe.
What is one thing you would really like to work on in your card making?
Ooh, the gouache that came out, I I've done acrylic and I've done watercolor, but I don't, I tried making my first card with it and I want to practice with it more. Um, I've seen what the artistry by Altenew team has been doing and I'm blown away. It's so good, amazing, and it looks so easy. And I don't know. I want to find the time to try, but it's been hard with the new artist gouache.
I've been known to say, "Oh, that looks so easy. I can do that."
Yeah.
Like, no. I can do it. It's just not going to be as easy for me as I thought it was. I can't just come in here and miraculously,
Yeah.
oh, look, I created a beautiful water scene.
Yeah.
No, 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 it's not going to work out that way. But yeah, I think those are, I think, on a lot of people's, I want to learn how to use these correctly and
Yes.
to beautiful result, because they are just, I just pet them in the box. Like, they're stunning and I do want to learn how to use them. But
Mhm.
yeah, that, I think that's on a lot of people. So very excited to see some gouache projects
Yeah,
in
hopefully
the
soon.
future coming out. That's very, very exciting.
Yeah,
What we love the Altenew flowers. Everybody loves them. But
absolutely.
what else from Altenew? Kind of, what if I took the flowers out, where would you go in the Altenew kingdom of products?
My next favorite for Altenew is always the geometrics.
Yeah.
So if you have, all of you viewing, if you have the Altenew stamps, it has the darker blue banner on the top left corner. So that's how you can identify your geometric stamps in. Those are definitely one of my favorite categories as well.
Yeah.
So because they pair perfectly with, nearly anything from the Altenew collection.
Yes.
And they're always really modern and they have this really interesting twist to them that can really liven up something just as simple as any flower arrangement. But yeah, no flowers, I would definitely do a geometric stamp.
And those are great too, because you can just pop a sentiment on. If you're in a rush, just do that background in a beautiful color, pop a sentiment on. You have a card. Like, it
That's
can
right.
be a quick go to, super fast. Geometrics are great for that.
Yeah.
And I think that would be my second category too, because they're phenomenal. The geometric designs that we have in stamps and embossing folders now, and
Mhm.
stencils too. I mean,
Yes.
every category is kind of getting some geometric love, which is phenomenal and just absolutely wonderful. It's very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of waiting for some hot foils. um,
Yes.
but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I can think of, like, the linked ovals as a hot foil plate would be gorgeous.
Mhm.
I can think of, like, oh gosh, now oh no. Now I'm like, it's going now. It's going now. Now I'm thinking of it. What would be a dream product from Altenew? Something that Altenew doesn't have now. Do you have anything that would be a dream product?
I think we kind of talked about this like pre-show, something to really pair with flowers that's completely different. I was thinking something like along the lines of ants,
Yeah.
maybe something even more dangerous, wasps, dragonflies, spiders to put on top of these flowers. But yeah, something to just like really, at least that I haven't seen yet.
I
Show up
love
on,
the more something more dangerous.
yeah.
That's going to be one of the best lines we've ever had in an interview. I have to tell you, hands down, that is. You may get a little Altenew interview award in the mail for the best line in an Altenew interview there.
But that's what I've been thinking of.
Yeah,
Definitely
and I
like
think
a
that's,
layering images, foil bugs. I don't know. So-
oh, I didn't even think of that. Ooh, foiled ants, because you can get the black. Oh,
oh, that's right.
that
Yeah,
is,
I didn't even think of that. I was just thinking gold accents, but
oh, gold
yeah.
too. Yeah, definitely. Gold is always the answer, in my opinion, in
Oh,
life and in crafting. Like, gold is always the answer. Now, do you feel like your scientist, the scientist hat you wear all day, do you feel it comes into your crafting at all?
yeah. Um, I think of it as sort of the Da Vinci Code, sort of um, Da Vinci meets art, meets geometry, meets symbolism. I do really take these into consideration when I'm making floral arrangements, for example. I'm very conscious about shapes and where your eye goes. And I have a book in my collection that's about the perception of art and
Mhm.
the scientific reasons why we find certain things appealing. And I think about that a lot as I make my cards. Like, why do I put certain sentiments in certain areas? Why do I like to place flowers upright or in
Yep.
different shapes? Because it sounds scientifically and realistically pleasing to me. So yeah, absolutely. These two worlds that I sort of live in always share some sort of element.
They're
Um,
married very well. They
thank
really
you.
are, you know, it they really are, because there is psychology as to why you always put something in a space, or, you know, why your brain sees something as a positive, or why you
Yeah,
look in the same spot each time, or there is a lot of science involved in us as humans. So of course in what we do, there's going to be a lot of science involved as well.
yeah. They're very, anytime I do make these cards, they are very conscious choices based on what I've read and what I've known.
Now, do you, when you do a card, so do you start with like a technique, or do you start with a set?
Hmm. I guess for me, like I think of Jennifer Maguire as the expert of techniques. Like Jennifer Maguire, Christina Werner, they do techniques. Whereas I always think of more moods. I don't know if that really answers that question the right way, but
Yeah.
um, I always think of how do I want this to look like, for example, the watercolor
Mhm.
cards that I make. How can I perceive this more realistically? And so while I do tend to stick within the watercolor realm, I don't know, that's just sort of how my mind works when it comes to newer Altenew florals.
And is that what you reach for? So say you've had a really chaotic day at work and you just want to come home and craft. What would you reach for? Would it be watercolor?
Oh yeah,
Or
absolutely.
yeah.
It's I guess it's where I find myself most comfortable. Um, but yeah, I any sort of crafting, I could do any of it after I
It
come
just
home.
soothes your soul.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
Do you have any advice for a beginner crafter that is kind of just starting out and they're overwhelmed because they've bought it all, but now they don't know what to do?
Yeah. I always say just do it. I know it can be really overwhelming seeing all the video techniques, but I always say try to create what it really inspires you. You know, for me, I did resist for a long time the fact that I did like Altenew florals. It's hard to believe, but it was hard to sort of present that in a way that I felt comfortable with. And then I just realized I just have to do it. You know, I have
Yeah.
to color what I like. I have to use the mediums that I like. And um, I mean, of course, the validation from Instagram is very rewarding, but
Yes.
but it's what I like to create. So it's a plus that the alternate community also feels the same way.
And I have to tell you, like, there would be hearts broken everywhere if you had never picked up a floral, because I mean, the inspiration and just the crafty love that we've all felt from your projects, we all would be at a loss if you had never picked up a floral. So, thank you so much for picking up that floral, because it just your work every time is so inspiring. There's just something in it, and it's you can through the videos, at least I can feel your passion and your love that you put into each of the projects, with just your details and your thought out process. It's just you can feel the love. So thank you for picking up that stamp set. And I'm speaking for I don't usually do this, but I'm speaking for everybody this time saying that. I try not to, but absolutely this time I feel confident, because we got all the love. We got all the love. um, do you oh, JC does videos. We had a question if you do tutorials on a blog or a Facebook page, but I think you're on YouTube mostly, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I have my perfect pairings with JC series over on the Altenew channel. I do have a personal YouTube channel. I have stopped posting on that for a little bit, but yes, I'm mostly on the Altenew blog, so blog.altenew.com, and also Altenew's YouTube page.
And the great thing about YouTube is that it's it's visual, so you can see it, and you can also pause it, if you're working right along with JC, because like Jennifer said yesterday, the videos you see from all of us are really edited, like very edited. I
That's
mean,
right.
some cards can take like 5 hours because you're struggling with it, and you guys see it in about 6 minutes. So
Yeah.
it really, it's very edited. So remember that. So pause and enjoy the process if you're crafting along with JC when he's making a card. What do you have for advanced crafters?
Hmm. I think the hardest part about like long-term crafting is finding your sources of inspiration or staying inspired. For me, I watch a lot of videos on other creatives that are not necessarily card makers. So pottery, home decor, um, things like woodworking, just to see how other people are using their hands to make other things. Um, and I think that's why I recently taught the embossing folders basics to brilliance class, and
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that I cover the entire range. And to do that, I had to do a little bit of field work and studying what other people do with texture specifically. What are people doing with texture? And so that's how that fourth lesson in that class came along, was home decor.
And that's what we were wondering yesterday. We were reading about the embossing folders. I'm like, the second I said embossing folder, JC's beautiful face popped into my head. And I'm like, I wonder if he'll use the embossing folders in this. So I'm excited to see if you pull in the embossing folders, because the projects in that class were just stunning. It was an amazing, and yeah, Nancy just posted too. That was a fantastic class. It was just, it
Oh
really, I
yeah,
mean, showed embossing folders some love, and everything needs love. So, we got to give the stencils, and everybody needs the love. But the stamps, a lot of times, steal the show. So,
that's it.
we got to redirect it sometimes onto those embossing folders and stencils and give it all the love that we can possibly give to it.
Right.
Do you have a project that is your most memorable? And if you would like to share with us, why is that your most memorable project?
Yeah, actually, after watching Jennifer's yesterday, I gave her one of my two, I have two that I can think of right away. But it was that Paint a Flower hydrangea card. And it mostly became it was meaningful for me because I never thought I could do that. I've always thought, oh, JC, you're always a scientist. You're always going to think very logically, right? And this free thinking of watercolor and sort of being in a crafty element, I never thought I could really do that. So once I saw the end result of the Paint a Flower hydrangea and what that ended up looking like on paper, I was like, oh, I can't believe I did that. So and yeah, because the biggest hindrance for me, I don't know about you, but I'm not a great illustrator. I can't really draw, but
Yeah.
I love to color. So
Yes.
that happened to work out really well, that Altenew puts out these stamps that I can freely color. Um, but yeah, that is one of my favorite projects I've ever done, and I'm glad that Jennifer has it still.
Yes, and she was nervous to frame it because she's like, I loved the message on the inside, so she's like, "It just keeps moving about, in her room." So that's a good memorable project to have there. What would you say is your way of encouraging yourself? Because you just mentioned sometimes you have like that, "No, I can't do," and we all have that voice like, "You can't do this." What is kind of your way of getting over that negative thinking and pushing through and really trying something?
Yeah, I won't craft if if I'm already in that mindset. Like we mentioned earlier, I do work full time, and some days I come from work and I take care of whatever I do for Altenew, and some days that just does not happen, and I readily avoid that by not overwhelming myself with what I contribute to both my full time job and um, Altenew, but yeah, that's probably one of the first things I've had to learn, is to be in the right mindset the first time. Now, I know we all get encouraged when we start crafting and things just don't look great. I remind myself it's just paper, and I just get rid of it and I start over, or I start over the next day. And it's just bound to happen. I think after a few years of practice, I've gotten used to the idea of
Yeah.
the creative workflow.
Now, what do you do if so let's say your mojo done gone up and went. What, how do you call the mojo back in,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
to
yeah.
speak.
I start very simply. I just start cutting cardstock. I don't cut all my cardstock at once. So, I have my reams of paper over to the side of me, and I'll just start making my panels. And then, as especially for new releases, we'll get them at all of them at the
Yeah.
same time, and it's
Yes.
easy to get overwhelmed. And sometimes I just have to step one to make a card is to get a panel, and then step two happens, and then step three happens. And again, that's years of practice of having to do this nearly every day. So I've gotten used to that workflow too.
It is overwhelming when you see, and that's, I think, too, some folks' problem is they have too many products out. You
Mhm.
know, it's too many things, too many pretty things, and yes, you wanna use all of them, and it would be a beautiful card, but sometimes your brain can't kind of it's firing too much that
Mhm.
you're over inspired, and I think there can be such a thing as over inspired because there's
Oh
just
yeah.
way too much, going on, so it leads you to that. So one more time, again, just a reminder that, and I do have one more question. It's a doozy for JC, but it's the closing question. So I wanted to remind you, it is 250 today through February 15th, if it lasts that long, my friends. And you can get $25 off if you use Garden 25. And what are you getting for 225? You are getting 6 classes. You are getting the exclusive retreat kit. You are getting PDFs. You are getting a live Q&A session with the leadership team. You get the unlimited access to the recordings, and the recordings come out usually Tuesday or Wednesday of the week after, because the Altenew team doesn't work on weekends usually, so they have to process the video and get that up. So within a couple days, your videos will be available, but it is after the workshop. There are giveaways after each workshop, and you can win up to $500 in prizes. And in your box that is going to come to your home, you are going to get the Secret Garden layering stencil and die set, streamlined 6x8 stamp set die set, a streamlined 3D embossing folder, the Bold Blooms 3D embossing folder, enamel florets, exclusive, and that's in bold, fresh dye inks. There's a set of 6 round ink pads, some A2 card bases, mini blending brush set, detailed blending brush set, and the stamp conditioning eraser set. And make sure if you head over to the Altenew site, you can look at all of this again and check it out. It's up right in the shop, so please feel free to head on over and check that out. So my question for JC is there something that we don't know about you? Is there a fun, interesting fact or story that you can share with us?
Hmm. What haven't I shared? Let's see. I'm a gamer. Aside from if I'm not crafting, if I'm
Oh,
not at work,
wow.
I do like to play video games every once in a while. How
That's a
about you?
good, and I'm sure lots of inspiring color combos because usually those are very bright graphics. So maybe you pull a little, maybe there too, you could find some inspiration for some beautiful florals as well because of all the bright colors.
Yeah, and as graphics have gotten better, there's a lot of interesting scenes that people create. So, yeah, I'm
Yes,
a
because
gamer.
back in the day of Atari, it wasn't. It was a lot of monochromatic back
That's
then.
correct.
Now now you have lots of, yeah, it looks like you're there, like,
Yeah,
it's so
right.
beautiful, it looks like you're there, so it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much, JC, for taking the time to have a lovely crafty chat with us. I was so excited to catch up with you, it's been a bit, so I
It
was so
has, yep.
excited. And tomorrow I am with the beautiful Carissa Wiley at 1 p.m. So we would love to see you turn up for her interview. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And thank you again so much to my very special guest, JC. It's always lovely to see you and have a crafty chat. Next time we'll be crafting that
That's right.
we see you. So it will be lots and lots of fun. In May, my friends will be here before you know it. So we will have those blending tools in hand before you know it. So thank you from all of us here at Altenew for allowing us to help you craft your life. We'll see you all very, very soon. Bye.